First Officer's Log, Stardate 35216.6. As the Valor nears Risa, we have been ordered to rendezvous with the Okinawa for crew transfers. Dr. Key and a few other personnel have been reassigned back to Earth, along with taking aboard a new Chief Medical Officer. A new Operations and Science Officer will be joining the crew of the Valor. Once we arrive at Risa and safely escort Ambassador Zenovia to the planet's surface, the crew of the Valor has been given several days' leave as a reward for winning the Parisi Squares tournament. We've had several detours on our way here, but it looks like we may finally get a few days off we've been promised. End log.
All right, we're gonna start the session off on the bridge of the Valor as you're a mere few minutes away from rendezvousing with the Okinawa. Commander, we are a few light years, a few parsecs away from rendezvous with the Okinawa. We should see her on our sensors.
Are we in communications range yet, Mr. Kelly?
We should be, Commander. And I actually do see the Okinawa.
Excellent. Hail them and coordinate preparations for rendezvous.
Hi, sir. And a few months later, on screen, appears an elderly captain.
Thashran will stand up. Captain, I'm Commander Kirthon Thashran of the USS Valor.
Hello, Commander. This is Captain Mitsurugi. We'll be rendezvousing here within a few minutes. I do have some eager crew transfers ready to depart and start their station keep.
Understood. I will alert our crew which are transferring to prepare to beam out. Over.
Understood. We'll contact you, signal you shortly when we're ready for begin the transfer.
Understood, Captain. Valor out.
And communication goes blank.
Thashran hits his comm badge. Thashran to Dr. Key.
Yes, Commander.
Doctor, we'll be rendezvousing with the Okinawa in less than an hour. I suggest that you finish packing if you have not done so already. I'll be down to the transporter room to see you off.
Of course, I will be there waiting for you.
Very well. Thashran out. Well, Mr. Taven, looks like we'll be having to break in a new ops officer.
Always a joy, sir.
Nothing you can't handle, I'm sure.
Of course not.
Is it just
And
the
then
commander going in there to meet, well, to see off the doctor and
care to join me, Commander Taven?
He kind of looks over. Yes, yes, that would be quite nice.
Very well. Lieutenant Azai, you have the con.
yes, sir. As she remains in her station, afraid to take the chair.
That'll happen.
Taven was very eager to get out of his chair.
That's right. I forgot to make up a counselor last week. Head down to transporter room 1.
As you enter the transporter room, Dr. Key is currently loading up her luggage as your former operations officer is standing on the pad.
Doctor?
Commander.
I'm sorry to see you go, but I understand that your position at Starfleet Medical is something of a promotion, so congratulations.
Well, we'll see about that. But thank you.
And Ensign Geron, safe travels to you. I'm sure you'll enjoy your time on the Saratoga.
He nods. Well, Commander, as the humans say, I wish you the best of luck and safe journey.
To you as well, Doctor.
And she steps on the pad.
Taven just says goodbye.
Lieutenant Shazeret, energize.
Do we have to make a roll for that?
No.
I'll never know.
He's
if
not
they-
giving us no free momentum.
And on the transporter pad appears 2 new officers in blue uniform.
Gentle beings, welcome aboard the Valor. I'm the first officer, Commander Kirthon Thashran. This is our chief tactical officer, Commander Zesser Taven.
Oh, hi, Lieutenant, junior grade, Alex Yemond, and I hold out my hand to shake it, to offer a handshake.
I shake his hand. Dr. Yamond, I believe, is it not?
Yes, forgive me, my first time ever taking the post of, chief medical officer. I've always had rank first in the forefront of my mind.
Well, no worries, Doctor. I'm sure Dr. Faratok and Nurse Ibex will make your transition a very smooth one.
I certainly hope so. Usually a little uncomfortable the first few days on a new starship.
Well, the Valor's a fine ship, and the sick bay under Dr. Key has been run efficiently and highly professionally. A status that I'm sure you will maintain.
I'm sure I will too. Forgive me if I don't do the best job I could. I always strive to do my best.
Understood. And you must be our new science and ops officer. Lieutenant Commander Thazonen.
That is me. I have to say, I'm rather excited to get started.
Well, once you've found your quarters and dropped off your gear, you're welcome to come up to the bridge. But I would understand completely if both of you wanted a little time to settle in and smell your way around the ship, as it were.
Yeah, I'd absolutely appreciate that. Though I would also appreciate probably a good uh, relaxing drink as well.
Hmm.
Like I said, first time on a new ship has my nerves riled up a bit.
Well, it's the wisest to
Commander,
sensors.
might not be such a bad idea to have him sit next to me for a bit at tactical. Let him get some experience.
Now, Commander Taven, let's not unseat Mr. Moress.
Well, it's simply for good cross training, sir.
I'm sure. In any event, gentlemen, while you're welcome to check out your departments and positions, officially your first duty shift will begin at 0600 tomorrow.
Thank you. I'll take my stuff. If it's all right with you, I'd like to see my quarters first to at least unpack some stuff.
Of course. Sure you're familiar with the standard LCARS layout. You should have no problems finding your way. Quarters have already been assigned.
Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome aboard, both of you.
Thank you, Commander.
Always a pleasure.
Is that the last of the transfers, Lieutenant Shazaret?
It would appear so, Commander.
The Shran will hit his tap his comm badge. Lieutenant Azai, my compliments to Captain Mitsurigi, and lay in a course for Risa. Normal cruising speed.
It'll be good to finally get to Risa.
Don't jinx it. But yes, I quite agree. I hear the ice has an interesting texture. It could make it a true challenge to work.
Yes, I recently found out that they have a wonderful spa that can fluff a man's feathers, give them a good buffing, so that they look proud and true.
Huh. I suppose I shouldn't be surprised. The Risons have been providing vacation and leave spots for centuries. In any event, let's get back up to the bridge and hope that no other interruptions happen.
Indeed. I have to say, it will be nice not to have ruffled feathers anymore.
The two of you get back to the bridge. I'm assuming the two new officers that joined the Valor, you both headed to your quarters and get situated.
Yeah, it's my assumption
Yes.
as well.
Yes.
I do not have a map, so whenever you feel like you wish to head to the bridge, just let me know. I will drop your token, or you should be able to drop it yourself in there as well.
Gotcha. Yeah, mine, Zenon would have just dropped off the bag and gone back up as soon as possible.
I pull out the pad and turn to Lieutenant. Is it Zures? Is that how you say it?
Mm-hmm.
Lieutenant, I was not happy with the scores yesterday and the simulations with these officers and their phaser recertifications. I will have you go and work with these officers immediately on improving their scores for their next recertification. If you would, send Lieutenant Duo up here.
Yes, sir. Sir, are you sure everything is all right?
No, everything's not all right. Have you seen these scores? They are most subpar for this ship. I expect results, Lieutenant.
Yes, sir. We'll walk on out.
Doctor, would you like to head to the bridge, or do you wish to check in with sickbay?
First order of business is to check into sick bay, see what I'm working with there.
All right, we'll transition to sickbay real quick before more shenanigans happen on the bridge.
Okay. Whew. Okay. So yeah, stepping through the sick bay doors.
You are met by the three-armed, three-legged Edosian Dr. Faratok. Ah, you must be the new Chief Medical Officer. Welcome aboard, Doctor.
Thank you. Dr. Alex Yamond. Shake his hand. Have a little trouble looking him in the eye, but I get close.
And this is Nurse Urilla Ibex.
Ah, good to meet you, Doctor. I've been looking forward to meeting you and possibly running some ideas across your table for some changes and general policies, but we can get to that later.
Nice to meet you too. You both are very kind folks. I'm very forward to working with you guys. Sorry about the stammer.
Oh, it's no problem at all.
I didn't even notice it. And he hands you a pad.
Okay.
Here are the latest reports and general status update, as well as transition documents that Dr. Key had us prepare for you. If you have any questions, of course, either myself or Nurse Ibex will be happy to answer or elucidate on the data in this pad.
I appreciate it. I guess we can go ahead and talk about those ideas but first I would like to see the main office, if it's all right with you.
Well, of course, Doctor. Let me be the first to show it to you.
Thank you.
Right this way.
And of course I'm following.
Here we are. It's Not the most luxurious, but I think you'll find it meets most needs.
Yeah. Well, I have a weird taste of comfort, so not really surprising. Amazing. Anyhow, let's go ahead and talk about some of these changes you wanted to go through. What exactly did you have in mind?
Oh, it's a long list. I really should prepare a formal notepad with it to go over them in a more structured manner.
You're, if there's one thing you're going to learn about me fast is that I'm a little bit more relaxed on stuff like that, mostly because I kind of have to be, otherwise I can lose my mind.
Ah, it's good to know, Doctor.
Um, but if you want to share some of those ideas now, and prepare the report late and prepare in the report more details, you certainly can.
Of course. Well, I just think that there could be some room for some slight efficiency improvements here and there where we store our equipment. I personally think that the blue bin should be next to the blue containers, not red, blue, red.
Um, I see the very big logic in that too. Ooh, uh, if you want to go ahead and do that, I'm not opposed to it. I do love a little bit better organization.
Of course.
Anything else?
Oh, I'll get the rest to you shortly, sir. But I will go ahead and start working on some of the simpler things and make sure the blues are with the blues and the reds are with the reds as they should be.
Yeah, might also help my OCD out a little bit. That was a joke.
Ah, ah, very funny, Doctor.
You don't have to lie to me. I'm not. I don't have a very good sense of humor at times.
Of course, you're right, Doctor.
Hmm. Um, with that in mind, um, I I'll go ahead and go through any other go through anything else that needs to be gone through, and once I'm done here, I'll report in on the bridge and see if there's anything else that needs to be done by from the commander. Ah,
Very good, Doctor. And of course, if you need anything from your nursing staff, please don't hesitate to ask me.
a bit of a heads up. This
Yes,
is this is my first time ever being a chief medical officer, so
I
any
would have never guessed, sir.
um, if there's any words of wisdom that you could impart to me, I would be very appreciative of it.
Oh, I would be more than happy to give you all kinds of ideas and suggestions at all times.
And that's what I'm counting on.
I won't let you down, sir.
I trust you won't. And with that, I'm gonna go ahead and start going through any reports that are there. Start getting busy.
And she immediately goes over and starts rearranging the glass bins with blues next to blues and reds next to
What
reds.
what what on earth are you doing?
This
You can't
comes
put toxic
directly from the chief medical officer. Blues must be with blues.
you're putting toxic substances next to medicinal substances. Just stop that. Stop that right now.
This comes, like I said, directly from the chief medical officer.
Yes, well, you can suck up to him later. For now, you can't put these two substances next to each other on the pharmacological chart. Knowing you'll grab the wrong one because they're both the same color.
But they're both blue.
Of course, they're both blue. That's the entire point of why they have to be shelved separately. Otherwise, you might kill a patient.
But if you want a blue item, you should always go to the blue side.
That's not how pharmacological organization works. But if you must insist on doing it this way, then you need to come up with some sort of separate storage facility. You're going to have 2 sections of blues and 2 sections of reds. I won't have these different substances being stored so closely together. It's just begging for an accident that could be fatal.
As a player, I have to ask, how loud is this?
Well, Fairtalk is not being quiet. I mean, he's not yelling, but
It's a little bit of a raised, but it's not yelling.
right.
I was just wondering if I could hear it from my office.
Oh, I'm pretty sure you're not that far away.
I'm just gonna walk out, stand behind them, like, something about toxic substances.
Yes, Doctor. While I understand the apparent human need to organize things by color, we really can't afford to put the cordrazine right next to the heronolin. They're both exactly the same hue of blue, but have very different effects. And if one were accidentally used when the other is indicated, it could have deadly effects.
I understand that completely.
And in a time of medical emergency or heavy casualties, it is best to have things to do what we can before then to avoid such mistakes.
Yeah. I mean, you're absolutely right about the human need to have everything color coordinated, but you're also right about that.
My suggestion was to create at least two different storage systems if you and the nurse insist on color coordinating the drugs.
I think that might actually be a good idea. If we're going to color coordinate them, we should at least make sure that we're not grabbing the wrong substance.
Shall I call engineering to see if they can install another cabinet?
It's not important right now. We can handle it later. For now, go ahead. Stop what you're doing. We'll handle the organization later. Sure.
And you see the nurse kind of stopping as she's moving all the things around. Now, which one was it that was there?
Just put that down and go do something else. I'll take care of this.
She frowns and walks away.
Doctor, I do have a bit of a question. How was your last CMO, if I may ask?
Why, how do you mean? Dr. Key was an excellent physician.
I mean, I'm not judging. I'm not saying they were bad or anything. I'm wanting to see how big, for metaphorical sake, how big of the shoes I have to fill.
Dr. Key had been in Starfleet service for many years. Not quite impressive, really, for such a young woman. Of course, to me, all of you humans seem very young, so perhaps I'm not the best judge of that. But yes, Dr. Key was a very serious person. Beta Z, her ability to read some of the empathic and mental patterns of the patients occasionally allowed her to make diagnostic leaps that someone without such abilities would not perhaps have been able to make, or at least not as quickly. I found her to be very efficient, although at times a bit short. However, I'm told that many humans also find me cold and short. So perhaps I'm not the best one to enjoy it.
Yeah. Believe it or not, I completely relate. social situations are not exactly my strong forte either. Have never been, even as a kid.
Well, social situations are not particularly a problem with me, but my species is, well, we are very long-lived and very private.
Right. I'm sorry. Can I confide in you about something?
Of course, Doctor.
Uh, I'm. You know about the human condition of autism, right?
Of course, that is more in Counselor Perix's realm, but I am, of course, familiar with it.
You know it's genetic among humans and usually appears very young.
Yes, and that there is a wide spectrum of associated behaviors and symptomatic appearances along the spectrum.
The point I'm trying to get to is I fall in the high portion of the spectrum. Not enough to impede my work or anything like that, but I am high functioning enough. Oh, so if by any means you find me lacking in some things, don't be afraid to tell me.
Of course, Doctor. However, as this is a multi-species ship, I'm not sure that that you will particularly stand out.
I just worry about my performance. I may be a savant in medicine, but when it comes to making a good impression, I've never been very good at those.
My experience is that Starfleet Medical chooses its chief medical officers quite carefully. Believe me, you would not be here if Starfleet Medical Command did not believe that you were up to the job. The Valor is one of the frontline ships along the Cardassian borders and the disputed zones. The fact that you, at such an age and as only a lieutenant junior grade, have been placed in the position of chief medical officer is a true indication of Starfleet's confidence in you.
I appreciate that. I also ask for a little bit of patience. I might do something that might grate on your nerves, and so if that ever comes into play, don't be afraid to tell me.
Oh, believe me, Doctor, I am never afraid to share my opinions with my coworkers.
I believe that.
Also, like I told the nurse, if there's any words of wisdom you can give me as during my tenure here, I will gladly take them.
Yes, Doc.
With that in mind, I think I better get back to work. There's a lot of paperwork to go through.
Of course.
And with that, I head back to the office, start going through pads and stuff like that. If there's anything else you guys want to do here, I think I'm done with my portion here.
I think we were just vamping for entertainment.
Right.
Okay. Go cut to the bridge.
Ah, Mr. Thazonin. Welcome to the bridge.
Permission to come about the bridge?
Granted. Feel free to take your station. Not much going on right now. We're quickly approaching Risa.
Understood. And I do just that.
Lieutenant Duo, I have to say that I've been very impressed with your scores lately. You're really coming up in the world, I think.
I'm already playing a character on the bridge, so it's going to have to be you, Tanners.
I'll do it. Thank you, Commander.
Yes, your actions as of late have been a true credit upon you and the ship.
I do appreciate that, Commander.
Don't tell
Sure.
anyone, but I'm working on seeing if I can't make this a more permanent position for you up here.
Commander, I do like my current posting, but if you wish or think that I can do better
I
for the
think
ship
you
up
would
here.
go far up here. Far.
Aye, sir. I do greatly appreciate.
Good. You see a bit of a smile on Taven's beak.
I'm not
That's
sure
a
if
trick.
I'm not sure if Hun can actually read that smile, but he nods.
Should we tell the new people the inside joke here?
Let. What inside joke?
Oh, okay.
Because there's no way that we are, even coming close to violating any kind of copyright, especially any kind of copyright held by the mouse, because that would be wrong.
Well,
We
there's that,
cannot.
but I was more referring to Taven's phobias.
Oh. Thought you were talking about Hunduo.
Cannot we cannot make the great mouse mad, but
That's true.
yeah.
No, his usual cohort at the tactical station is Zures, who is a Cation who looks like a lion, and for some reason Cations make Taven, the bird species, very nervous. Although he's been ordered to seek counseling for that atavistic reaction.
I like that. Great.
Mr. Thazonin, anything on scanners we should be aware of?
Checking now, Commander. Do I see anything, Mr. GM? Well, I'm going to report that there's nothing on scanners right now. Seems all's clear.
Excellent. No news is good news.
So, I've read recent reports from the Valor. Sounds like exciting stuff.
I could do with a little less excitement from time to time.
Run my hand over some of the old wounds that I got from the recent missions. I feel you there.
Well,
Commander, we're
I
coming
definitely
up.
understand, but I have to say that I do feel. Oh, but
Apologies, sir. Commander, we are coming up upon Risa. We should be within deceleration range here shortly.
Very well, Mr. Thizonen, hail Ryzen traffic control and ask them for an orbit. Inform them we are bringing Ambassador Zenovia and her assistants back to Risa, following which put in the formal request for shore leave for the crew.
understood. Open hailing frequencies now. And I begin to hail Risa.
They acknowledge and clear you a path for orbit above the planet.
The Strand to Ambassador Zenovia.
Yes, Commander Sistran.
Ambassador, we are entering Ryzen orbit. We can beam you and your people down whenever you're ready.
Of course, if you don't mind, I would like to enter the bridge. I would like to at least gaze at my planet before I beam down. It's an old habit, to be honest.
Of course, you'd be more than welcome. Mr. Zonin, let's give the ambassador a good view.
Taven will speak up. Commander, I would point out it's not customary to have civilians on the bridge.
Perhaps not, Commander, but the ambassador is also a sitting member of the Federation Council. I believe we can give her a little leeway. I stand up when she enters.
Taven does the same.
Ambassador, welcome.
She nods. Thank you, Commander. It's an old habit, really. She kind of looks at the view screen. Tell me, Commander, do you get to visit your home often?
Well, not as often as I would perhaps like. Starfleet service has tended to keep me pretty far away from Andor the past few years.
I see. I must say, I don't get back here as often as I'd like to.
Holodecks help somewhat, but as good as they are, it's still not the same, is it?
No, it is not.
Ambassador, if you will... Oh, go ahead.
Speaking of which, if you and your senior staff would like to, tomorrow evening I am holding somewhat of a little banquet at my estate, where several other delegations from the Federation Council will be there. You are more than welcome to join me.
I think I can safely answer on behalf of the senior staff that we'd be delighted, Ambassador.
Well, Commander, thank you for allowing me to indulge myself. I will be waiting in the transporter room.
Allow me to escort you. Mr. Taven, you have the bridge. I'll escort the ambassador out and off the ship.
Taven has no problem staying in the chair.
Of course not. He's got 3 full pips.
You escort the ambassador. Moving tokens around.
Right.
Sorry.
You escort her and her, she's meeting up with her 2 assistants that she brought along. Permission
It's been
to.
a pleasure having you aboard, Ambassador, and thank you again for your assistance with the Shiva 2 colonists.
It's my pleasure, Commander. Oh, and Commander, please enjoy
Yes.
yourself on Risa. I'm sure you'll find many things of interest down there.
I intend to. Until tomorrow night, Ambassador.
Till tomorrow
Lieutenant
night.
Shazeret, energize.
Should we make a roll?
No free momentum.
It's just gonna
Moment
go
you-
away because new scene. So
The Thrayan stretches and looks at Shazeret and says in Andorian, "Well, looks like we finally made it to Risa." And with the ambassador safely delivered home, I believe we're just about ready for shore leave. Any plans down below?
I might try some ice carvings. It's been a while. The holodeck doesn't do it justice with the auto assist.
And Tanai kind of go up in surprise. Really? I didn't know you were an ice sculptor.
Just a hobby.
I've picked out a spot in the southern polar region. I plan to spend my time there, see what I can call from the ice. You're welcome to join.
Perhaps. Though I heard there was some interesting creatures down there. Though none like you see on Andoria.
Well, that's one handy thing about ice sculpting. You always have your Ushantor handy. Besides, it's Risa. How dangerous could it be? Dun dun dun.
Saw that coming from a mile away.
And yeah, I'll head back to the bridge.
Now remember, when he's gone, you call me Captain. Oh, Commander.
Try not to molt in the chair, Mr. Taven.
Of course not, sir.
All right, leave rotation has been scheduled. Senior staff, department heads, we have been requested to attend the reception at the ambassador's residence on Risa. Dress uniforms for everyone. While the ambassador's phrased it as a request, I'm framing it as an order.
Mind if at this point I show up on the bridge to report in?
Ah, Dr. Yebund. Perfect timing. You'll be joining us below tomorrow night for a formal reception at Ambassador Zenovia's home. Dress uniforms, of course, Doctor.
Of course. Wouldn't want to disappoint.
Apparently, there are some other members of the Federation Council on Risa at this time.
Doesn't really shock me. It is the prime vacation planet of the Federation.
Lieutenant Azai, let's do
It is Risa after all.
assume parking orbit.
Aye.
I'll coordinate with the fleet command on Risa for our resupply and minor repairs. And I'll hit the all call button throughout the ship. This is Commander Thashran to the crew of the Valor. We have arrived at Risa and have entered a parking orbit. Shore leave begins at the end of Alpha shift today. Rotations have been posted. Any substitutions or rearrangements need to go through your department heads. Enjoy your leave, everyone. That's 3 days well earned. Thashran out.
All right. With that, as the Alpha ship comes to a close, at this point, most of the rest of it takes place on Risa. So, whatever you guys wish to do before the banquet.
And the banquet's tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, after Alpha shift, the Shran is going to take a shuttle down to the South Pole and set up kind of a camp and start looking for the right piece of ice. And I'll take a, collapsible shelter, supplies, all that good stuff.
Savell, I guess, will look into archaeological studies found on the planet.
All right.
Taven will be working on getting an appointment in the legendary Feather Fluff Center.
Yeah. He's accustoming himself to all the science equipment.
I think I'm gonna find a good library down on Risa and try to keep my medical knowledge fresh, according to whatever they have in the library.
All right. One's an archaeological dig site. Other went to a library. You went to a lab. Are you staying on the ship, or are you going down to the planet?
On the ship.
On the ship.
Yep.
And that leaves Taven doing what Taven does best.
Getting my feathers fluffed.
It just sounds dirty.
High or low, Commander?
Let's do high.
Nope. She decided not to join you.
Oh well.
All right, we'll go in. Start with Savell. So you start journey through some archaeological dig sites there on Risa. Greeted by a fellow archaeologist there, and random name generator. Uh, all right. I am Desar Vig. Can I help you?
Yes, I'm Lieutenant Saval. I'm from the USS Valor. Um, I just have some prior experience into archaeology. I was just rather interested in the operations you are conducting here.
Well, we're currently uncovering some artifacts at dig site A17. It's rather interesting. Mostly we found pottery. We're still trying to clear up some of, excavate to a lower level on some of the other areas. I haven't found anything yet, but this site holds some promise for some ancient Brazilian culture.
Fascinating. Uh, can I see the pottery? May I ask
Right
that
this
you
way.
found?
And he escorts you to the location where the pottery is at. They uncovered. Some of it's fragments. Some of it is almost whole pieces. Ancient, vases with interesting interact design that's typical of early Brazilian civilization.
Interesting. How what's the approximate date when this or how old are these artifacts?
We haven't got around to the carbon dating, but if you would like to tempt your hands, there's we have a spectrometer over there that can help analyze and carbon date these artifacts. Just be very careful. I shouldn't need to tell you, but uh, this is the only evidence we have so far of this dig site. It was believed that this area was not inhabited by the Brazilians until much later, but these artifacts prove otherwise.
You haven't found any other evidence of structures of or other architecture?
Well, we believe that so far that they might have used wooden um, structures here, and most of those would have been decayed by now. But pottery, that's the real evidence.
I take the Chronicle scanner in or the whatever it's called and see if I can work with that and try to figure out the date, approximate date and time on these pottery.
Give me insight plus science difficulty of 2.
Hey, will archaeology as the focus be used?
Yeah, I'll allow it.
Um, Give you one threat for 3 dice. Fingers crossed.
Gain a momentum. It would appear that the artifact is approximately 7,000 years old.
Fascinating. This pottery here is about roughly 7,000 years old.
It's extraordinary. Uh, this goes back further than I thought it did. Changes nearly the Brazilian history, though. Gotta keep this down. Brazilians don't like things get altered too much. But I will have to confer with the see if I can't get more archaeologists here. Thank you very much. Please have a look around, see if you can't find anything. You just struck gold. Really excited over the discovery.
I will go and see whatever I can do to help out.
As you wander through the dig site, we'll head over to the ice cliffs in the southern pole region. The commander.
Okie day.
You come across as you're made your campsite, and as you look and you see a rather large ice cliff, towering several thousand meters high.
Nice. So yeah, I'll set up camp, and I am flying a Type 6 shuttle.
All right.
And then I will start investigating the cliff and surrounding outcrops for a good outcrop to carve or sculpt.
Give me insight con, difficulty of 2.
Okay, I'll give you a threat for bold and the third die. Don't really think a focus applies here. You're not actually sculpting yet. Ooh. Let me re-roll that 0 with bold. There we go.
All right, gain a momentum. Currently, you're at 2 momentum.
Sorry, I was AFK.
It's perfectly fine. You find a suitable piece of on the cliffside where you can start carving out a nice embedded sculpture.
Cool. All right. Instead of getting straight into it, I'm going to take time to study the eyes, take readings, study the historic climatology for this range. Andorian ice sculpting is kind of chronologically based, for lack of a better word, but it's not just about the sculpture you create at the moment, but how it ages with the effects of weather and everything. So I'm going to take some time and kind of really plot things out and see wind patterns, erosion patterns, how this glacier is shifting and all that kind of stuff to plan my sculpture.
As you do that and you kind of look over the weather patterns, you come to the realization that this ice cliff area would only last for a few more decades. The glacier patterns and how they manage their essentially weather on Risa. At times, the glaciers will suddenly melt at different points in the season to kind of help revitalize the atmosphere.
Well, cool. Then I will plan my sculpture around that melt if I can figure out when their next bid is, and so that the sculpture will change and mutate as the ice changes and melts until it disappears. It takes on different forms and shapes related to what has come before and what will come next.
Give me reason con difficulty of 1 to kind of start
Okay.
planning that out.
Sure. Let's see. I'll give you another bold for a third die, just in case. That's one of the in case. There we go.
2 momentum gained. And you think you can plan this out through the weather patterns to at least get a good 15, maybe 20 years with it changing its shape just slightly enough that it will be recognizable for several years to come.
Cool. And I'll be sure and have set an alarm or have the ship call me so I have time to go back up and change and dress for the ambassador's party.
Let's make this to start the ice sculpture a extended task. Control con to kind of navigate the ice and carve it just precisely the way you want it.
Okay.
Difficulty of 3 to start out with the resistance of 1. Work 12, magnitude of 3.
Sculpting as a focus.
Yes.
Okay, so take 1 threat and 2 momentum for 4 dice. And for bold, let me re-roll that 0. Yeah. Dang it.
You say you were rolling 3 dice or 4 dice.
Yeah, sorry, I forgot to click. So here's the 4th. Okay.
Gain a momentum. 7 challenge dice.
Something at 6.
Yep, and that would be a breakthrough. And you spend a good portion of the day carving this out, and you realize this is going to take a while. But we
Yeah.
can come back to this a little bit later as we head
Cool.
to Taven, who is getting his feathers fluffed at a resort.
And I'll be in there walking in. It's like, oh, good. I'm so glad you're able to get me in today. Let me tell you, my feathers need a good fluff.
Of course, we don't get to see many Aurelians here from time to time. But please, right this way.
Of course, and I'll need my talons sharpened. And do you do a good beak buff? I mean, I need it really polished and buffed out. I'd like it to really shine. Maybe a wax.
Of course.
Good, good. I heard wonderful things about this place.
We aim to please.
That's what I heard.
Would you like to try one of our rejuvenation springs before we begin fluffing your feathers?
Oh yes, you have a nice bath for me to use.
Of course.
Oh, I would love a good bath.
Right this way. Then she escorts you to a private bathing area that's a large and luxurious outdoor-ish bath surrounded by palm trees, a built-in waterfall that comes down and splashes into the pool.
And Taven, once has his privacy, will remove his clothes and kind of fly himself into it and begin flapping his wings about, splashing the water about, and getting it all over him.
And as Taven is enjoying his bath and special time within the spa, essentially, We'll head over to the doctor who went to one of the more metropolitan areas. Not a real big city, but a managed to find a library.
Right. I'll go ahead and walk up to a receptionist. Hello.
Greetings. How can I help you?
I would like to see what you have in your medical section, and or of at least in your medical science section. Sorry.
I can show you to some of the ancient medical techniques of the Brazilian dynasty.
Sure.
Most of our modern day medical techniques, from my understanding, is stored in the Federation database.
Right. I don't care. I'll study it. It usually studying something like that helps me calm down. Anything medicine wise, that is. So I'll take whatever material you have.
She types in on her console. If you go to the third floor, section 9, AB, there is a quite wonderful selection. It's in our historical portion, but you should be able to find several books on the topic of medical techniques and teachings of the Brazilian dynasty.
Thank you. And I'll go ahead and head straight there. And when I'm there, I'm gonna pick one of the books off the shelf. Or wait, they wouldn't be books, actual physical books, would they?
They are actually physical books.
Okay. I wanted to check with that first. I'll take one of the books off the shelf, go to a quiet area, and start reading. You know, see if I can pick up any trivia out of those as well.
You get a couple of books on ancient Brazilian medical techniques from one of the earlier dynasties. You sit down in as you said, the quiet place, and you begin opening up. And one section is the elixir of life.
I'm gonna take a closer look at this section.
Give me insight plus medicine, difficulty of 1.
Ooh, this is the first time I'm rolling. Do you guys roll?
Okay.
How do you guys roll on here? I never had to use this before.
Okay, so currently, looking at where it says the dice roller on the character sheet, you have focus use. You either select yes or no. Complication range will always be 1 unless I tell you otherwise. So if I up the complication range or not, I'll tell you whether it's 2, 3, or 4, or 5. The task roll will always be 2 unless you're assisting. Then it's 1. If you wish to buy additional dice, like per the rules, then you just either go, pay momentum or threat to buy extra dice, which is 3 or 4 or 5.
Okay. Okay. So I do it from the character sheet on here. Okay,
yes,
that's awesome.
You do it through the character sheet. You just hit the task roll button on there, or the little starfleet symbol next to task roll, and that will roll it. The challenge dice section, if you want to roll challenge dice, where the zero's at, you would enter the box. You would put in the number of challenge dice you wish to roll. Make sure you hit enter. Otherwise, the sheet doesn't recognize that you changed the value.
Okay.
And then you just hit the starfleet symbol to roll the challenge dice.
Okay. What was the roll again? Insight plus what?
Insight plus medicine, difficulty of 1. Yeah, and for the attributes, you just select insight and then medicine. Gain a momentum.
Awesome.
As you're reading about this technique for elixir for life, you come to the realization that it's a very rudimentary ancient technique that's kind of similar to what ingredients were in modern day hypo sprays. It's a very crude but somewhat effective technique, but would never replace anything that you would have today.
Fascinating. So, in essence, this is like a prototype version of hyposprays, or at least
Yes.
something similar. Yeah. Okay. Hey. Oh, that was fascinating to learn. Um,
And
I'm gonna continue. Oh, yeah. Go on
as
ahead.
you continue going through this section, you're like you discover like how they use leeches to cure blood poisoning and other medieval type techniques that would it was kind of common like on Earth and other
Right.
planets.
Right. I'll continue going through the book since that elixir of life section kind of piqued my interest. Um, Anything else I just happened to see in there?
No, not really.
Ah, okay. Uh, um, so yeah, uh, upon finding that and learning that detail, I have a little bit of a grin on my face and continue studying.
All right, and we're going to cut back to the Valor real quick. So, Joan, as you start wandering the corridors and you find your way to the main science lab on board the Valor, you find that it's rather empty currently, as everyone is trying to get their shore leave time in.
That's good. Definitely don't want anyone obstructing a work-life balance. I'll take this opportunity, though, to go through the science stations and the equipment to just familiarize myself with what's there.
Up ahead, you have sort of a science office, little office area for you and whoever is in command of the science department. And as you go through, it's just there's a standard, storage contain standard equipment storage and other samples containment that are non-hazardous. Um, Back here,
Good. All right. And then coming out into the hallway. What's this room over here?
this is a standard Starfleet containment area for hazardous experimentation.
Understood. Okay.
Areas where quarantine might need to happen.
Gotcha. Okay. Let me I was gonna go through one of the consoles and just see what were the latest uses of this quarantine lab area.
Um, you go through the actual logs on there, which you find that there really hasn't been any um, scientific studies been done on board the Valor.
Hmm.
Valor is a relatively new ship. They have not had a chance to do any sort of scientific exploration.
Understandable. All right. This is good to know. All right. And then does it have a register of how much there is in the science division? How many people?
Currently, you're looking right around about 75 personnel.
Good amount. All right. Good to know. Well, I guess I shouldn't be the only stickler. let me go ahead and start to head back. I'll go to first my quarters. I assume there's nothing else here in science that I'm missing. Then, yeah, I'll head back to Risa, and I guess I'll join the CMO in the library.
As you head towards the library on the planet's surface, the reception goes like, "Oh, welcome to our humble library. What can I do for you?"
Oh, hello. I was just here to check up on a friend who came here earlier. I believe you meant to go do some research.
Oh, should be on the third floor, around section 18 and 19.
Thank you very much. And I'll go where indicated.
As you wander the library and you head up to the third floor, you see the doctor sitting at a table, sort of appears to be reading, going through different books.
Okay. I'll go ahead and I'll approach the doctor. Before speaking up, we didn't get a chance to speak much in the Okinawa. Seems we'll be shipmates. Just wanted to give a more formal introduction.
Oh, it's great to meet you too. If it's a formal introduction, then Alex, hold out my hand to shake his hand.
I return the handshake. Kaval.
Fascinating.
I agree. How long have you been with the Starfleet?
Oh, probably about if you don't count the academy years, probably about maybe a year and a half.
Gotcha. Mine's just a little longer, but it's definitely had its fun. Is this your first posting as chief division?
Oh, absolutely. Never thought I'd actually get a chief medical officer position. I always thought I'd end up as a nurse or assistant doc or assisting chief medical officer. Never thought I'd end up as one.
Yeah. In fact, you did it as a JG, which has to show that you're quite brilliant when it comes to the scaffold, I'm assuming.
Yeah, quite brilliant with the scalpel. Not as brilliant in social situations.
I guess that's why they keep you in the sick bay, right?
You probably wouldn't be wrong.
It's all right. Well, what do you think of the new crew? Or are new to us? We're new to them. What do you think of the crew?
Fascinating. I probably need to brush up on my Andorian anatomy a lot more. Or I've seen more and no offense, but I've seen more Andorians on this ship than I have on any other starship.
Yeah, it's actually a bit of a refreshing change. I wonder if we'll get to lower the AC more often.
Possibly. My more immediate concern is how my sensory overload sometimes can adapt to frontline work. I sometimes get sensory overload.
It's understandable.
So,
Well,
what?
you say humans are the most adaptive.
That they do say. So what led? So I am curious.
Sure, we'll be able to find a happy medium between your needs and your responsibilities.
Yeah. I mean, I managed to find a way to do it as a kid. I can do it.
My
I can
first time
actually
as
do
chief of a division as well. Huh?
it. How long have you been in Starfleet?
I am coming up on 5th year so far. Mainly spent the time behind a microscope, but uh, I guess you could call me an adrenaline junkie.
I get that. I used to have a friend who used to be an adrenaline junkie. Um, I used to have a friend who used to be an adrenaline junkie.
So it's definitely a interesting combination. I'm glad to be out here. I want to see everything it has. But at the same time, I
Yeah. So
can't say I find the idea of getting shot at unappealing.
yeah. So what? So what led you to join Starfleet?
I was born to it. I was born on a frontier world on the edge of Federation space to mainly Andorian scientists on the station, pointing every listening device they could out into uncharted space. I was born in it, raised in it, didn't feel like I had anywhere else to go but to the academy.
Nice. Interesting. I was
What about
also
yourself?
I was also born on a starship with Starfleet parents, though the reason I joined was to more to kind of prove to them that I was capable of doing it. My parents believed that being a Starfleet officer would be so much tougher than what I was capable to do that they thought I wouldn't be able to handle the stress or anything like that. So I fought hard to try to get into Starfleet.
I think there's more than one cadet that joined despite those that said they couldn't. I'm glad to have you with us, though.
Thanks. They always assumed that I'd probably end up being taken care of by someone, but it's good to know that I proved them wrong. That I'm the one ended up taking care of people.
That's definitely one way to make them eat their words.
Yeah.
So, a more personal question now, Alex. Why did you come to the library to relax?
Uh, really, what I am a very socially inept. Well, mind if I'm sure the commanding officer knows about it because it's probably my personnel report, but you mind if you keep this between us real quick?
Sure. Newbie to newbie.
Um, the reason my parents felt I couldn't adapt to Starfleet is because I have a genetic condition called autism. It's prevalent among humans and it appears at a very young age. It's a very large spectrum, though.
I've heard of it, researched a bit in the academy. I have to say, you seem high functioning.
I am. I was actually inspired by an old 22nd century Starfleet officer I heard that also had autism but managed to make it through the academy. The rest of her file is classified, though. Oh, I only. Oh, so I don't know much about her, but she kind of seemed interesting, almost like a hero figure for me.
Okay. I mean, half of Andoria still worships Sean, which I wonder if our commander's related in some way.
It wouldn't surprise me if he is.
I make him quite the celebrity back home, but I don't want to bring it up in case it's something else.
Could also be the case of same name, different different lineage.
Yeah.
Plenty of those on Earth.
Well, I'd say, Alex, I'm glad I didn't come aboard by myself. I'm glad to take the journey with you.
I'm glad to have taken the journey with you too. I just wish I could have met you sooner. Though with my social awkwardness, it takes a while for me to get the balls to actually meet people. So
I believe it was an Earth religion called Taoism that says the world unfolds as it should. So maybe we're meant to be meets right now instead.
perhaps. Nonetheless, I'm glad to be here, and I'll fight to be here, if you know what I mean.
I say completely. Consider me an ally in your corner.
Well,
Yeah.
oh, and I don't know if you want to hit the seed or not, but I'm gonna start mentioning the trivia I've learned in these books. Like,
Yeah.
oh, did you know?
I think there's going to be a lot of polite nodding, and yes, we probably should end the scene there.
As the two of you, engage in intellectual conversation, Savo, you went through and found some interesting, locations that could be potential dig sites. Taven continued his spa retreat, and the commander managed to sculpt out enough of the ice cliff to warrant rest for the day. As you go to the next evening, all of you kind of return to other duties that you wish to do. Oh, not duties, but activities on Risa. Um, uh, Commander Shashan, you make a little bit more progress on your ice cliff. As the rest of you get the notification from the ship that in a few hours is the um, banquet that the ambassador invited everybody to.
Take the shuttle back up to the ship to clean up and
Well,
change
orders are
into
orders.
my dress uniform.
Did I get a good fluff, and is my beak nice and shiny?
Yes, your beak is nice and shiny. You got a nice fluff. They even sharpened your claws for you.
Ah, good. Did they wax the beak? Because the water elements on it, and the wax really helps.
They did indeed.
Oh, good. It's nothing like a good waxing.
All right.
So
And I'll meet the senior staff in the transporter room.
Vel will finish up the rest of his stuff on the surface, or finish up the rest of the archaeological findings and things like that, and head back to the ship and get the dress uniform on and get ready. First clean up, though. First clean himself up, of course, and then clean up to get the dress uniforms.
Gazadin will do the same.
I think pretty much finishing up at the library, getting that notification, I go straight back to the ship and immediately get changed and ready for the evening.
The five of you meet up in the transporter room. I don't have a token in place for just a generic Starfleet officer, but there is a generic Starfleet officer there.
Right.
Taven looks over to Shishran. So, what do you think as he turns his head to the side to show off the beak?
Mm.
Shy here.
Kind of runs his hand over it, caressing it almost. Yes, it's quite buffed out now. I really think they did a wonderful job on it.
Yes, Lieutenant Zures said you looked like you were having a good time, and quite a relaxing one. Did you happen to see him?
No, I don't think I did.
It's apparently the same salon that does the services that you took advantage of. Also is well known among Caitians for their own intensive grooming services. Apparently, he caught a side of you and enjoying yours. I wouldn't worry about it too much. It's not unusual for Caitians to be moving so quietly that you never even know they're there in the background. Energize when you're ready, Ensign.
See Taven kind of looking back and forth as it energizes.
Of course, I'll put you in the courtyard, Commander.
Very good.
It kind of goes back. What's up with the Caitians and the chief of security? Oh, I made the mistake.
Mistakes were made.
Yeah. Too many things to click on to move into one layer.
Oh yeah, I hate the shapes and trying to find the right layer to click on them.
You beam into the courtyard, dressed in your dress uniforms, the ugly dress uniforms.
Are we in the doublet and tights stage?
Yes, you are. See a rising kind of come to you, bow. Greetings. If you follow me to the banquet hall,
Most gracious, thank you.
and they lead you inside where see a large crowd of statesmen and other high figures, along with a few, waiters and waitresses, a barkeep, very, formal and sort of luxurious in a way.
Right. Gentlemen, enjoy yourselves. I'll make our greetings to our hostess.
Okay.
I'll try and find the ambassador in the scrum.
Thank you for joining me, for joining us, Commander.
Thank you for inviting us. It's quite thoughtful of you.
Let me introduce to Kellen James, as she points to the elderly gentleman, the representative from Earth. And over here is Representative Vim from Trillius Prime.
Counselors, an honor to meet you both. I'm Commander Kirthan Thashran of the USS Valor.
Oh, I heard about your recent engagement, Commander. Well fought. Regrettable what happened to the colony on Shiva 2.
Well, at least we were able to get all the surviving colonists safely away. And Ambassador Zenovia here was instrumental in negotiating with the colonists and convincing them that perhaps finding a new world to settle was in their best interest.
Yes, it is unfortunate, but
Understood.
Representative Graham, can I speak? Commander, how long do you expect this conflict to keep going on? We've been at this for several decades now, and it's become tiresome.
Well, as to that, Counselor, you would really have to ask the Cardassians. Every time we make an agreement, or at least come to an understanding, a few years pass and the Cardassians decide that they let a planet go that they actually want, or some new faction comes to power and has used the agreement with the Federation as their public relations tool and breaking it as their promise.
Oh, I see. Perhaps we need better negotiators.
As to that, ma'am, I couldn't say. Unfortunately, we've been spending much of our time over the past few years in Starfleet on more military operations along the Cardassian border rather than exploration and science, which is where I, as well as most of my fellow officers, would much rather be spending our time. Not that we mind at all performing our duties in defense of Federation citizens, of course.
I see. Representative James. Well, hopefully this conflict doesn't carry on too much longer. It's becoming a drain on some of the resources.
Well, believe me, Counselor, that one would be happier than the officers and people of Starfleet if we could bring this on-again, off-again conflict to an end once and for all. Although I'm not sure how much or for how long we can truly trust the Cardassians. They're aggressively expansionists. And I fear that should they decide or be forced to make a more permanent settlement with us, that it may just wind up driving their aggressive actions into another quarter and another people. Perhaps one's not nearly as well able to defend themselves as we are.
Perhaps, but perhaps they might engage in more xenophobic activities like the Romulans.
I don't see the Cardassians withdrawing behind their borders as the Romulans did. And the fact of the sheer number of Class M planets with valuable resources in the border regions only complicates matters. There are all sorts of colonies, both Federation and Cardassian, in what we're currently referring to as the disputed zones and the demilitarized zones. I'm not sure how one would properly draw a line through all of that. Certainly not easily, but I'm sure you three know far more about that than I. In any event, let's not take up a lovely evening with shop talk. I've had an opportunity to visit and begin work at the Polar Caps, Ambassador. Truly magnificent vista.
I am glad you're enjoying yourself, Commander.
And just sort of make idle chit chat, and from that point on.
As you're making idle chit chat, the two other representatives, they kind of walk off as you're just chatting away with the ambassador. Meanwhile, what are the other four of you doing?
I think I'm just gonna find a table by myself and sit. Maybe go over a data pad I brought with me. Workload, kind of like I said in character. My character is kind of socially awkward.
All right. What about Saval and Tavid and Azoden?
Think we'll
Let's see. I would probably. I'm not sure what Zona would do at a party, actually. Give me a little bit to think about that.
There's a bar.
Oh, that's a bar. I thought that was the exit. Okay, yeah, could go to the bar. Oh, there we go. Yep, so Zonon would approach the bar and order the strongest probably drink they have.
Warmer than ale it is.
Isn't that illegal?
I won't tell if you don't.
No, didn't hear a thing.
Pours a cup of Romulan ale. As far as everyone is concerned, it's Andorian whiskey. They are very close to the same color.
All right, I'll take it, and I begin to drink it down.
Fitness medicine difficulty 1. Did you hear me?
I did not.
Okay. Fitness medicine difficulty of 1.
That's a difficulty of 1. All right, 1 second. One. All right. And
You'll be rolling 2 dice.
oh, I'm sorry about that.
Just roll 1. Just hit the button again.
Didn't work at all. Hold on. Something wrong here.
No, you rolled a 16 and a 17, which, judging by your score, you needed to roll an 11 or lower.
Gotcha. Okay.
As you take a big swig of the Romulan ale, you definitely hits you hard, and you definitely feel a little lightheaded and dizzy as it kind of rushes to into your system.
Probably should have ate before this.
Any activity you engage in currently until you sleep it off, or take a detox hypo, increases in all activity tasks increase in complication range by 1.
Nice. All right.
What about Taven and Savell?
Well, I think we'll get a glass of water and head over to the table with Alex over there, or the lieutenant. Because Vulcans don't drink.
All right.
Well, the cool ones do.
Taven's busy showing off his beak to all the patrons around.
A waiter comes up to the two of you, Alex and Savell. Can I get you anything?
Oh, what do you have that's non-alcoholic?
Water, and do you wish to make the appearance as some of our compatriots that you are drinking?
Might as well, yeah.
Sparkling wine it is.
Thank you.
And for you, sir. It looks to you, Savell. Sorry. My apologies. It appears you already have water. And he walks off to get your drinks.
And I didn't know talking to a waiter would also be that nerve-wracking.
It doesn't really seem to be very keen eye.
Ugh.
And the waiter returns with your drink, Alex, and begins walking the tables. Taven, their waitress kind of comes up to you and goes, "That's a really nice shine you have on your beak."
Yes, they did a nice job, and I mean, look at my feathers. They're so fluffed.
Oh, so elegant.
Yes.
Are you in a...
Would you like to feel them?
Would be honored, but it is not my place. I was just curious. You're dressed so fine, and are you a Starfleet diplomat?
Well, you could say that. I did help with negotiations recently.
Sounds exciting.
Oh, yes. Why don't we come over here and see if we can't find a little bird seed to talk this over with?
Maybe later. Can I get you something to drink?
No, but I mean, if you have any bird seed to just, snack on, that'd be nice.
I'll see what I can get for you.
Or if you have a nice juicy worms. Oh, those were nice at the spa.
There might be some gah.
Well, as long as it's live, I mean, that's the important thing.
I will ask the chef. walks off. And with you, Commander Shastran, Zenovia takes her glass of wine and drinks it. Also, slowly. If you excuse me one moment, Commander.
Of course, Ambassador. I'll wander over to the bar and
And she kind of walks up and stands on a little bit of a podium in the back, kind of taps to get everybody's attention. As the crowd kind of goes silently. And I want to thank all of you for coming this evening. I know my parties are always the most lavishing events that you could have here on Risa, but I wanted to also thank the crew of the Valor for joining us and escorting me from a recent conference from Beta Z. But there are some things I feel that I need to get off my chest. But my fellow delegates of the Federation, while we have heard the public outcries to end this border conflict with the Cardassian Union and all this talk and our claims to systems that the Cardassian choose to occupy, with the recent loss of the colony on Shiva 2 at a great cost to those that live there, thousands of Federation civilian lives were lost at the brutality of the Cardassians, and thousands more will now be displaced, forced to rebuild on a world they do not call home. And at this very moment, brave men and women of Starfleet are risking their lives to retake Ketra Prime from the oppressive regime that is the Cardassian Union. Yet we sit here and drink wine, all the while gossiping the tune of bending the knee to the Cardassian war machine. She looks frustrated. Say we give in to the demands of the Cardassians. What next? Beta Z? Trillius Prime? Earth even? Or how about Tellar? At what point do we make our stand and draw the line? The Federation, for nearly 200 years, has been the beacon of peace and democracy in our little corner of the galaxy. Yes, lives are on the line, but many more will be if we give in. Now is not the time to give up. Now is the time to stand united and push back on the darkness that and she collapsed to the floor.
Upon seeing that, I'm gonna rush the stage and check on her.
just trying to run up too.
The crowd gasp as they're in shock of what just happened. Give me insight or reason medicine, difficulty of 1, Doctor.
Okay, give me a moment. Let's see. I'm going to use my reason instead. It's a higher score. Go ahead and make the roll. 2 successes.
1 momentum gained.
Oh gosh. I'm gonna tap the combat, and she goes and go. Oh, Chief Medical Officer, earn to the Valor. Emergency transport to sick bay.
You guys have another supporting character you can use. I think Charette is on the surface. But this will be a control plus engineering difficulty of. Not from a pad in the. Is she going straight to medbay?
Yes. Not. There's not a moment to. There's not a moment to
All right.
waste.
Difficulty of 3. Control plus engineering, assisted by the ship's sensors plus engineering.
I'm thinking of the existing supporting characters. Actually, Kelly has the best control engineering score. Yeah, at a 13. So we'll let Lord help us. We'll let Ensign Kelly make the roll. This is third activation. What's the role for control engineering?
Control engineering, assisted by the ship's sensors plus engineering, difficulty F3.
Okay.
If you guys want to use a momentum to assist, we could.
Yeah. I'm just trying to figure out if I want to. I think I'll give him technical expertise. At least let him reroll the ship. So take a momentum and 2 more momentum for 4 dice. Does
All right.
not have a focus. Diff 3, right?
Yes, diff 3.
Okay, there's that. And here comes the ship. There's engineering. Ooh, the last roll I made with the ship was complication rage 5. Oof.
2 momentum was regained as the doctor and the ambassador is beamed to the ship.
I think at that moment, I think the moment we arrive, I'm going to try to stable, and
I'm going to cut to that in a moment. I'm going to do a little bit more here real quick.
okay,
All right, doctor?
okay.
On the floor, Commander, you do see that there is a glass with some spilt wine where she, collapsed at.
Just Rand. Taven, get up here. And I go over to the table where the counselors are. Are either of them drinking wine?
Everybody is.
Okay. Counselors, not to alarm you or anything, but I suggest you put down your glasses, and perhaps it would be best if you return to a secure location. The Valor is standing by to assist you in any way we can.
Of course, Commander. I do hope the ambassador is well.
As do I. So far as I'm aware, the ambassador was entirely healthy. I'm afraid we may be looking at some sort of foul play.
Interesting. Who would want to harm the Ambassador Zenova?
I don't know. It's always a possibility that her drink was meant for someone else, and I give them both kind of a significant look. Perhaps you would both be safest aboard the Valor, at least for a certain amount of time. Are there any other Federation counselors in the...
Everyone here is a delegate from the Federation.
Yeah, I wasn't aware of that.
I will go ahead and speak to Safran. Commander, should we try to get everyone to a secure location?
Hmm. Or to secure this location. Taven, what do you think? We certainly can beam everyone aboard the Valor.
Yeah, we could do that.
So sort of GM thing here. My question is for you guys: are you beaming everybody up, or are you locking down the area? Because this is a potential, I guess, crime scene, so to speak.
Yeah, I think we're better off to lock down the area. Shashran to Valor, beam down a security team to our location. There's a momentum and take a threat for the team.
A security team is beamed down and secures the perimeter.
Right. And I get up on the little stage. May I have your attention, please, counselors and delegates? Until we can determine exactly what happened to Ambassador Zenovia, I'm going to ask you all to refrain from any further food or drinks until we can make sure that it is safe, and to remain here. Security team from the Valor is on site, just in case there is some sort of foul play afoot. Mr. Tazonin, perhaps you could begin a systematic scan of the food and drinks, particularly this, start with what the ambassador was drinking.
Right away, Commander.
Make sure that we can find a safe source.
Understood.
If you are scanning her drink, it'd be a reason plus science or medicine difficulty of 2.
Okay.
And we do have 3 momentum.
Good. 2. Okay. Hey.
I'm typing it in now real quick.
No problem. All right. Commander Arthur Sean, I have a result from my scan here. It appears as though the ambassador's drink was laced with a toxic alkaloid-based substance. Most likely came from a fruit of similar taste to the wine that she was consuming beforehand.
So poisoned.
It would seem so.
Is this substance broadly toxic to many species or specifically tailored to rhizons?
It's a broad species of humanoids.
Sorry, Commander. Hate to interrupt, but we should perhaps see if the rest of the drinks here are poisoned as well. It's if it can kill or could harm anyone, possible
My
that the rest of these drinks could be.
my thinking exactly, Mr. Savell. Mr. Thizonen, can you and Savell make sure that no more of this stuff is floating around?
Understood, Commander. I'll check the containers containing the alcohol, as well as the bottle may have been poured from, if it was a vintage.
Head to the bar, make sure that the servers are not serving any more of that specific wine.
So you walk up to the barkeep. Is everything all right? Is the ambassador should be okay?
I sure hope so, but I would like to just to make sure that the rest of the delegates here and everyone else is safe. Um, I would like you to stop serving that specific wine, just in case if if there was anything in that wine that could possibly harm anyone else here.
I see. Um, very well.
Commander Taven, let's find the head of the caterers or the household staff, whichever may be the case, and make sure all of the uh, serving staff is accounted for.
Would like to speak to the head bartender again and ask about where did the wine come from? Is in like does it come from a dispenser or anything like that?
We have several bottles. It's part of the ambassador's private stash that's stored here at her residence.
Hmm. Okay. Um, is any of can I see a sample of one of these bottles you have?
Of course, and pulls out the bottle and hands it to you.
All right. Thank you. I go walk over to a Zonin or yeah, uh, there Xanon. Is that his name?
Uh,
What is his name?
the
Xanon?
Zonin.
Oh,
Okay.
Zona, sorry, I thought you were talking about me. Yeah,
Yeah,
Zona.
the Son. The Sonin. Uh, can you scan can you see or can you scan to see if this 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 poison is in this bottle as well?
It's getting down.
Reason plus science or medicine difficulty of 1.
I will assist him if I can.
All
Difficulty
right.
1.
Yeah, difficulty 1.
Alright.
You gain a momentum. There is a
Ow. It
complication. Did you buy an extra dice?
I did not try to do it here on the roller here.
1 momentum, and there's a complication from the engineer who's fumbling with the bottle and trying to help scan at the same time.
We do have enough. We could spend 2 momentum to quash it if you guys want to.
yes.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea.
All right, you squash the momentum. This particular bottle does not contain any of the alkaloid poison, essentially, inside of it.
Scanner's coming back clear. No trace of the alkaline-based substance. It seems as though it was either laced in her cup before it was poured, or poured after the fact.
Sounds like it was a specific bottle that was poisoned, not all the bottles.
If you wish to check everybody's food and drink, this will be an extended task. Reason, or actually, no, let's go with control plus science or medicine difficulty of 3. It's gonna be work 14 and a magnitude of 3 with the resistance of 1.
If I were to assist, do I do control or daring? Which one do I do?
It's the same. It's control, or control plus or control plus science or medicine.
I'm better with science, so do science.
Yeah. Control plus science or medicine difficulty 3, work 14, magnitude 3, resistance of 1. This is an extended task to scan pretty much everything.
Gotcha. And just confirm this is my first extended task. It basically I'm doing a roll, and the amount of success goes towards the work, correct?
No. So you would roll to see if you succeed or not, and then after you succeed, you'll count how much. If you go past the difficulty, you gain momentum like a normal task roll. After that, you will roll your discipline of what you use for the task roll +2 in challenge dice, and then the dice roll from the challenge dice will go towards the work track.
Gotcha. Okay. So first one up. There you go. 1 success.
You want me to roll as well?
Who is doing the main role and who's assisting?
I think he's doing the main role. I'm just assisting because he has a better science anyway.
You'll be rolling 2 dice because it's different.
And we do have momentum, or you can buy dice with threat. Either way, and I would recommend maybe buying at least one because it is a difficulty 3 roll.
Good call. Okay, yeah. Let's do that.
Okay, just roll 2 more dice since you already have the 1 success.
Okay. How do I put in the 2 more dice in the roller?
So on the dice roller,
Mhm.
You see where it says task roller. You just will select 2.
2. Okay. And then roll.
Go
Yep.
ahead and roll the assist.
You have 3. So now what you want to do, and where below the task roll you see challenge dice.
Mhm.
Your science score is a 5, so
Okay.
you'll be rolling 7 challenge dice. So put in 7 in
And
there,
roll.
and make sure you hit enter, and then hit the Starfleet symbol to roll 7 challenge dice. Currently, that is doing 4 on the work track, because of the resistance. You got 5, essentially 5 total off the work on the roll.
Mhm.
You subtract 1 for the resistance. You can
We
spend
can't. Yeah, go ahead.
you can spend momentum to do extra work, or you can spend momentum to re-roll challenge dice, or you can spend a momentum to do tier piercing.
Hmm. Let's go ahead. I would say, should we use the momentum to get more work done? Imagine.
Yeah, either piercing or spending 1 for work will get you up to 5, which will be a breakthrough.
Yeah. Then I'll go ahead and use momentum to get more work done.
So you're spending 2 momentum to do 6 work.
Correct.
Okay. So we're currently 6 out of 14 on the work. That's 1 breakthrough, which will lower the difficulty, making it 2 for the next task.
Hmm.
Roll 20 changed how the token stuff works.
Sure.
So I have a little extended task tracker. You can see it, what your current progress is on the work track. Meanwhile, we're going to go up to the doctor that's on the ship.
Okay. As soon as I get there, I'm going to try to stabilize her condition, buy her more, at least buy her more time so we can work.
All right. This will be a control plus medicine difficulty of 2 to create that advantage.
Okay. Difficulty 2. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and use one of my values, if it's all right.
What value do you wish to use?
I'm gonna use I don't lose a patient.
That seems applicable. So you're spending your determination on the value that you will not lose a patient. So at this point, like if you wish to buy any more additional dice to gain momentum, it will cost double, or not double, but it'll cost essentially 2 threat or up to 5 threat if you wish to roll up to 4 dice.
I know buying that dice gives me an automatic crit.
Right, yes. So you already get 2 successes, which you already succeeded at this point. You still need to roll. So you would just roll 2 dice if you want, or if you wish to buy more.
Yeah, I'm just gonna roll with that already done. I'm gonna just roll the standard amount of dice.
Okay. Just roll 2 dice. Control medicine. Right. Gain 2 momentum. You currently stabilize her, but her sarcophagus is still swollen and it's choking, essentially choking her.
Would my untapped potential kick in here since I did buy a dice with my determination?
Yeah, actually it would. So roll 1 challenge dice.
Zero.
Okay, yeah. Keep in mind with untapped potential, it's bonus momentum, so it does not. It's useful when like asking questions or performing like extended tasks.
Right.
The bonus momentum is not saved after the task ends.
Okay. I wasn't sure how that worked. Never
Yeah.
used the talent before, but I might as well. I'm gonna get. How long did I buy?
She has, instead of seconds, she has probably several minutes. What do you wish to do?
I'm gonna. And you said her larynx is still swollen, right?
Yes.
I'm going to try to. I'm gonna try to reduce the swelling, and as I'm doing that, I'm gonna call in my medical team under a medical emergency.
Okay.
Yep.
You'll be.
Faratok will move in to assist.
The other one's down the surface of the planet, but you do have your advantage on the ship, so you do have like other medical staff in there that's kind of hidden.
Whoever is there to answer the call, I'm making the call. As far as what I'm doing with the patient, I'm going to try to reverse the effects the best I can.
How do you wish to reverse the effects?
I'm not very versed on tech as far as Star Trek medicine goes. Is there something I can use to try to reduce the swelling, make it?
That was the advantage that you had sort of a generic antitoxin to help with this, which is buying her time.
Dilovine.
Yeah. At this point in stage, you would probably want to look for some sort of antitoxin to kind of,
Okay.
remove the toxin in her body, or some other method of doing that.
Okay. I'm gonna try. First off, are any of the nurses in here right now?
You've got Faratok, I think.
Okay. I'm gonna ask him to grab me an antitoxin, and then I'm gonna proceed to
3 cc's of Dilovine ready, sir.
And then I'm gonna use it.
Can Faratok assist?
Yeah, I'm gonna spend some threat. Control medicine, difficulty 4, complication range of 3. There will be you get assist from the ship's computers plus medicine to make sure you get the dosage right, plus Faratok, and you also do, since you're the CMO, you do have an advantage.
Okay. Would any of my focuses apply here? I'm thinking emergency medicine might also apply.
No. I'm thinking more like toxicology.
Okay. Does xenobiology apply in this at all?
No. If you were scanning her to see if what's ails her, I would probably use that. You already know what the problem is. You're just trying to alleviate.
Right. Okay. And I already used my determination to stabilize her. I probably used it too early, but you'll live and learn, right? I think I don't know. Would you guys be opposed to me buying more dice? We have 2 momentum.
Not at all.
Keep in mind, you do have an advantage. You can use that to lower the difficulty or lower the complication range.
I'm going to lower the difficulty.
Okay, so it'd be difficulty of 3, complication range of 3. Control medicine.
And then I'm going to use momentum to buy. Okay, here we go.
Nice.
Sneak 2 assists.
Can Feratok use pharmacology as a focus?
Yeah,
So we're
that
drugging
would,
them.
yeah, that would apply.
Okay. And then computers medicine from the Valor coming up.
2
Nicely
momentum.
done.
Yep, 2 momentum gained, and you stabilize and alleviate her symptoms. You'll probably have to do a little more extensive treatment to kind of help get rid of the toxins in her body. But
I think whatever we have to do to save her.
but she's no longer in danger of immediate death.
Okay. Well, shall we get to work?
Of course, Doctor.
Trying to think what the first process of this would be.
While you're thinking of that, we're going to head back down to planet
Okay.
All right. As two of you continue to scan, what is Taven and the commander doing?
Taven, are you here? Taven? Polly want a cracker?
Give him the Ravens call.
Caw, caw.
Okay, so I guess I will try and find the either head of catering service or head of the household servants or both, and get them to round up and do the head count on their people, make sure everyone's accounted for.
Presence command difficulty of 1.
All right, I'll buy an extra die with momentum. I can get it off the sheet. There it goes. I think I have a focus that applies.
Nice.
2 momentum gained. And I'll mark on who's the head person with the little orange symbol. And they got all the staff kind of lined up. Couple
Cool.
waiters, bartender, and 2 chefs. Which he's the head chef.
Are all of your people accounted for?
Yes, Commander.
Any temporary workers just taken on for the evening?
Well, all of us really, Commander. But we've been in the service for Ambassador Zenova in the past. We just don't do. She's never here hardly.
Understood.
Commander, how long are we going to wait here?
Well, it's not like you have any place else better to go, is it?
Ha! I am a Federation delegate that sits on the council. You can't keep us here forever. How long is this going to take? I have important business to attend to.
And I'm a Starfleet officer who sits on the bridge of a Federation starship. It'll take as long as it takes.
Huh.
I could offer you some wine, though.
Kind of just growls at you. I don't need wine.
Well, then perhaps we can find you a comb for that tangled, matted mess you call a beard.
Maybe you need your antennae straightened out, Commander.
Mm.
Do your job and do it fast.
Mm. Do yours, which right now is sitting down and leaving me alone.
Huh. Grumble, grumble, grumble.
So, who was in charge? Was anybody particularly serving the ambassador, or was it was sort of floating around amongst you?
Floating around, Commander.
Did anyone see anyone around the ambassador's private wine stocks at any time during the evening? Someone back in the serving area or kitchens who shouldn't have been, or at least was unusual to see them there.
Barkeep, I was the one that got a hold of the wine. Grabbed 5 bottles of it. I believe there's still 3 more in storage.
That was the center guy.
Yeah.
So did any of you see anything odd? Anybody in behind the scenes, or with the wine, or when you were traying up the glasses, who shouldn't have been there, or was at least odd that they were there?
No. I mainly poured the drinks. The 2 waiters here, or well, the waiter and the waitress here, delivered them to the guest of Miss Zenovia.
And the ambassador's preferred wine, were any of the bottles ever out of your sight?
No. Till your lieutenants took one.
Which proved to have no of the toxins in it. So they poisoned either a specific bottle or a very specific drink. And they're busy scanning all the drinks.
Go ahead for the Azonin, and so I'll give me a control plus science or medicine difficulty of 2.
Alright.
And make the roll first, or do you want me to do the assist first?
Go ahead and make the roll first.
Okay, I'll do the assist.
I was going to say, you can only assist if he has at least one
Well,
success.
Yeah,
okay.
I just won't count it if he doesn't get any rolls or successes
Gotcha.
on the roll. So
Gotcha. Alright, rolling now.
2 momentum gained.
Nice.
Roll 7 challenge dice.
Alright.
Capped.
That is 5 work being done, which is another breakthrough. Difficulty goes down to 1.
Excellent.
Currently you're at 11 out of 14 work.
Fantastic. Should I roll again, or?
You can, if you like. Control
Alright.
science or medicine difficulty of 1.
Alright, rolling now. That's 1.
You need to roll another. You always roll 2 challenge dice unless you're.
Oh, you're right. I don't know why that went to 1. I'm sorry about that. Let me roll another 1 here. Okay, so it's actually 2.
Just need the assist from Saval.
Tanner's is BRB'd.
Oh. Well, 1 float. Go ahead and roll 7 challenge dice.
All right. Ooh.
Currently doing one work. You can spend that float to re-roll 5 challenge dice if you want.
If I can't, yes, that's exactly what I'd like to do.
Yeah, you would just change the number from 7 to 5 and just hit enter. There you go. That looks like that's total of 4 work, which would put you over the work track. When you hit the work track, you only needed 3, so 15, not 156. You hit the work track or succeeded, you actually get you get a breakthrough, which will actually finish the total extended task. You and Saval went around the entire room, scanning all the food and drink that are currently on everybody's plate, and a gruntle Tellarite kind of eyeballs the two of you, and your scans come back all clean. That none of the other food or drink has been contaminated with the poison.
Commander at the Shran. Yeah, the results from all the testing, and it's all clean. Only the ambassador's drink had the substance in it.
That's good, at least. Scan the other 4 bottles, I believe you said, looking at the bartender.
Very well.
Of the ambassador's private stock. I know you've already scanned 1, checked the other 4, but I'm thinking that specific drink was tampered with.
For a momentum, I'll give that to you.
Okay. There you go.
Commander, the wines are negative. It appears to be just her drink.
That means the target was deliberately the ambassador, and that somebody poisoned the drink either when it was poured or while she had it. Tell
Which
me,
could mean the would-be assassin is amongst us now.
Commander, can you detect trace amounts of that toxin? Like if you could scan the people in the room, would you be able to pick up any lingering trace amounts, say in a vial or other delivery device?
Depending on the delivery method, we could find powder. A vial, it would depend if we got lucky and they spilled some on themselves, or if they. I'm not sure if these guests are willing to be searched or not.
How close would you have to get to scan?
For a proper scan, especially over the hands, I'd have to be very close.
So there's nothing about this substance that would allow you to, that it emits some sort of chemical signature or anything that would allow you to pick it up from any more of a distance with your tricorder?
No, unfortunately, this one would be very small trace amounts, droplets or small powder on the body. It wouldn't detect anything airborne.
What's the origin of this toxin?
For a momentum.
Everyone's cool with that. I'll go ahead and do that. Yeah. Different toxic fruits of this particular substance could be found on several worlds. It shows Prime, Earth, Tellar, Shiva 2, here, Risa. The list goes on.
Well, that doesn't narrow things down.
They knew what they were doing. Oh, Commander.
Hmm?
That's all of the information I can provide immediately. You'll have to make a decision over how we go about this.
Excellent. A room full of Federation power players. And a commander to try and wrangle them all. This is a resume generating event if I've ever seen one.
Well, at least your name will be known.
Well, I suppose we'd better start questioning people.
You may want to begin with the serving staff that would have the most easy access.
Tell you what, we'll split up the work. You take the serving staff. I'll begin with the delegates.
Understood.
We need a couple of rooms where we can talk to people in private in. Can you set that up for us? I look at the head guy.
Right out over here, just inside, there's a private room for calls for delegates. You can use that.
Very good. My science officer, Lieutenant Commander Thazonin, will be speaking with you and your people. Please cooperate with him fully.
Of course. How do you wish to start?
Do what?
So, where do you wish to begin?
Or should we try and scan everybody's hands just in case? But that's going to be a pain if it comes up with nothing. Let's begin with Counselor Vim.
Okay. So you can go down to the room down here. Taven's probably handling these security matters and gathering people in.
Mm-hmm. Counselor, thank you for taking a moment to speak with me.
Of course, is Zenovia okay? Do you know? We've been friends for a while.
Our medical staff is doing everything they can. And our sick bay is one of the most advanced in the fleet.
That's good to know.
So it appears that Zenovia was attacked directly. It wasn't a mass attempt at mass poisoning in hopes of getting her, but very specifically her glass apparently poisoned.
Oh. Who would do such a thing? That's terrible.
Perhaps someone who does not agree with her view on the Cardassian situation.
Most of us want to end this conflict. It's been a drain on Federation resources in many of the developing worlds are having some issues with this. Though, while I do take her side on many agreements, as a member of Trillius Prime and coming from a family of ambassadors, you can see that I wish to try to at least engage in negotiation talks with the Cardassian Union and try and bring an end to this war.
Of course. Are there any delegates who would stand to lose something? Position, power, contacts, contracts, anything, if Zenovia managed to convince the council to continue to oppose the Cardassians, as it seems that she was determined to do. At least that's what I got from the beginning of her speech.
I'm uncertain. It's I know Councilmember James. He was can be a tough man to read at times, but he's been part of the Federation Council for a long time. But he's been most spoken about continuing the war. In fact, he wishes to engage in more once increase engagements with the Cardassians to bring about a swift end to it. But there are others in the council feels that we should continue status quo.
Do you know if Zenovia had any enemies, any among the council or not?
She often gets into arguments with Councilmember Connacht, but he's also arguing with everybody else all the time.
Tellarite.
Yes.
Hmm.
You had a brief encounter with him earlier. Well done.
Tellarites are fine people. You just have to know how to speak their language.
True.
Well, and do I get any sort of sense that she's hiding something?
Insight command difficulty of 2.
I'll give you a momentum for a third die.
Gain the motive back. No, she seems fairly truthful. A little unsure about some of the other council members because she's a little bit shocked by what happened.
Right. Thank you very much for speaking with me.
Of course. I'm assuming she leaves.
Yeah. I need a better way than just interviews to figure out who's doing this.
All right. A zoning.
Actually, real quick, could I go see Commander Tron real quick?
Yeah.
Commander, I think I may have come up with an idea.
Fantastic. What's your plan?
Well, it's still not foolproof. But if we offer them, say, something to drink, a cup of some sort, we can detect trace amounts from the cup rather than directly off their hands. This way we don't arouse suspicion.
What are you proposing?
We basically offer them a cup of water or something, and then instead of scanning their hands directly and tipping off whoever maybe we're searching for, we can scan the cup that they held or drank from.
I'm not sure offering a room full of guests who've just watched somebody be poisoned by drinking a drink is necessarily the best way to go about this, Commander, although it's not a bad idea. The more I'm thinking about trying to interview a room full of diplomats who are professionally capable of not telling the truth if they need to, the more I'm wondering if maybe lining up and scanning each person might not be the best solution.
I think any other possibilities? We can also just, from the waiting staff, find out who had closest contact with the drink, but I don't imagine there that many people.
Well, when I came up to speak with the ambassador, she was standing with ministers James and Vim, which is why I started with them.
You still need to interview Minister James, correct?
Yes, but from what Minister Vim told me, James is what the judge thought, based upon Zenovia's speech, James was about to at least gain a stronger ally than he already had. But yes, I think you're going to have to get your tricorder and 2 scans of everyone in the room.
Understood. I'll start right away.
Have one of the security officers ask Minister James to step in, if you would.
Will do, Commander. And I return to the party and inform the security officer to bring Mr. James to the commander.
While he's gone, I'll tap on my comm badge. Thashran to Dr. Yemond.
Dr. Yemond here.
Report, Doctor. What's the ambassador's condition?
Well, good news. She's not in immediate danger of dying. Bad news is she's still going to need more treatment before she's fully stable.
That's excellent news, though. Can you tell me anything about the substance that poisoned her that might allow us to track down who gave it to her?
My immediate concern was saving the patient, but I'll put that on my to-do list. I'll contact you when I have a positive ID.
Understood, Doctor. Thashran out.
I'll give this to you guys. It's a common alkaloid type substance, typically, either from some sort of berry or other sort of fruit.
So nothing that's gonna make it particularly unusual and jump out at us. Okay.
Like I said, that's what I told. Like it's found like on Earth and a bunch of other Class M planets.
All right. I guess I'll talk to Mr. James. Stand up and show him to a seat. Counselor James, thank you for agreeing to speak with me.
Not at all, Commander.
So, I understand that you've been advocating that the Federation push things with the Cardassians more aggressively.
I see you've been talking to Councilmember Vim. Yes.
Well,
I would like to increase resources to Starfleet and engage in a more active footing. It's the only way these Cardassians are going to know.
Well, I tend to agree with you, but unfortunately at the moment that's neither here nor there. This deliberate attack on Ambassador Zenovia, it sounded like that she was about to deliver a speech advocating more your viewpoint than Councillor Vim's. Had Ambassador Zenovia been on your side of this debate before tonight, or was she announcing a change in her political stance?
She's been following more along the lines of Councilmember Vim's, but this is a first for her. She's more of a woman of peace. She tends to believe in the good nature of everyone.
Well, she has risen. Do you know of anyone who might that her change of political attitude might disadvantage enough to make it worthwhile to them to permanently stop her?
Other than the Cardassians themselves, I do not know. But many delegates here are more advocating for peace and the withdrawal from the contested zone. I think her attempt tonight was to try and sway some of her fellow delegates to pursue a different avenue.
And you, Counselor, would you have welcomed her political alliance under these circumstances?
Depending on her stance, I would potentially welcome
it. Do I think he's hiding anything relevant to the investigation?
For momentum, or you can roll for it.
Yeah, I'll roll for it.
Presence command, difficulty of 1.
Okay.
Use because he is telepathic, so could he try to sense what he's doing?
Who's telepathic?
That's Savel because he's Vulcan.
Vulcans, you do a mind meld. And you need the
Oh.
talent for
If if I remember Vulcan physiology, they're only telepathic through physical contact.
Yes. It's
Okay.
touch. 2 momentum gained.
Yeah.
He seems very truthful to you. Though you get a hint that he's pondering like he might use this situation to a certain advantage down the line, depending on the outcome of your investigation. Like you get the hint that he's plotting something.
Fair enough. He's a politician. Thank you for your time, Counselor James.
Of course, Commander Shashran, and let me know on the outcome of your investigation. Hopefully, some good can come out of this.
Let's hope so.
Gives a nod and proceeds out of the room and back with the others.
This is getting nowhere fast. I guess I'll talk with the Tellarite next.
Oh boy, this is, I don't know where this.
First you make me sit down, and now you make me come in here. Commander, make up your mind.
What was his name again?
Cronach.
Well, judging by the look of you, a little bit of exercise isn't going to do you any harm.
Ha! I get my daily walks in. I'm healthy as a fiddle.
A fiddle, eh? Well, a more broken down musical instrument I've never seen. But I guess you'll have to do. Because I've been backed into such a corner that I'm even needing your help.
My help? What in the world will you need my help for? You have the resources of your starship. Hurry up and do your investigation. Get it over with. Some of us have important business to attend to.
It's exactly what I'm trying to do if someone would stop blowing hot air out all the time.
Ask your questions, Commander.
Who benefits from this? Besides the Cardassians, who here benefits from this? Or is there a minister not here who might benefit from this?
That Andorian, like your kind, always conniving ways.
Think you've gotten me confused with a Vulcan. But which Andorian?
What's the name? They're a newcomer.
They here tonight?
No. She's too much of a coward. This is her doing, I swear it. She poisoned poisoned Zenovia.
How'd she do it if she wasn't here?
She's got agents everywhere. Chakalis, that's her name. Chakrias, or however you say your silly names. Pathetic family trees.
At least we have family trees. As I understand it, yours is branchless. In any event, what makes you think that the Andorian delegate would want to murder Zenovia?
She wants to withdraw all the Federation forces from the area and settle peace so the resources could be spent on her pet projects.
As I understand it, a lot of the delegates are for peace. Come on, man. You call that a reasoned argument?
Sure, peace is good. But at what cost? You heard her words.
I did more than hear her words. I was there on Shiva too.
Then you know what the Cardassians are like.
I know all too well.
Perhaps you should take it up with your representative.
It seems unlikely that someone who wasn't even here had anything to do with it.
Ah, don't underestimate her.
It's good advice. I recommend never underestimating an Andorian.
Ha!
Right. Well, you've been absolutely no help.
I've been more help to you than that. Councilmember James. He does nothing half the bloomin' time.
Well, you and him seem to be on the same side of the aisle. Both of you.
Only when it comes to the Cardassians. I guarantee you we have our differences.
Well, how could anybody not have differences with you? All right, I'm done.
Ah. Just walks off.
Did I think he was hiding anything?
For a momentum.
Sure.
Nah,
Okay.
he's
All right, I'm gonna let the sciences guys have a swing at this because I'm butting my head against the wall. So let me think.
okay.
All right. First, I'll go to the head servant and ask which of your staff served the drink to the ambassador.
The ambassador was on like her second or third glass of wine, but it would be one of the two waiters. They usually take multiple drinks to the different guest here tonight.
Well, I'll speak to them then.
You walk up to, and they're two Orion. I don't know. Sorry, Brazilian. One is a waiter, one is the waitress. They kind of look at you.
Have both of you served the ambassador a drink this evening?
They both kind of like, yeah, we both did.
Do you know which of you two served the first one?
The waitress was like, I served her the first drink of the evening.
Do you know who was near her when you served her?
She was talking with the Trill.
The Trill. Very good. Did you also serve her second drink?
No.
I turned to the other waiter. I take it then you served.
Yes, she was sitting down at the time talking with the Tellarite delegate.
Delegate. And then was the second the last drink, or did someone serve a third time?
The waitress was like, I served her the last drink. She was talking to both the human and Trill delegate at the time, and then you came in shortly afterwards.
May I see your hands? I want to make sure you didn't accidentally touch something dangerous.
My hands?
Yes. You just have to hold them out.
Okay.
And then can I scan her hands see if I can find any trace of the Apoloid.
As you pull out your tricorder to scan her, roll me daring plus security. Opposed.
All right. Oh,
So
very well.
this is a opposed roll. She is attacking you.
Oh. Okay.
I'm
We have
spending a threat.
we have 4 momentum. With the threat, he's probably going to roll at least 3. Oh,
Oh wow.
It is a difficulty. You have to beat a 5 on this.
All right. You guys cool using 3 of our momentum?
sure.
All right then. Okay. And here goes. It did not succeed.
So
Ooh,
Yushan, you can probably re-roll that with Yushan.
He
Yeah.
doesn't have it on him. I don't think he has
No.
the talent.
Correct. I went the other one. I don't think I have anything here that would help me.
Only thing
Nope.
you could do is spend your determination to reroll some, or you could just, take what's coming.
I'll use my determination.
What value?
All right. All right. So I'm gonna go with. It's a bit of a stretch, so I don't blame you for saying no to it. Science is not for the faint of heart. I have a bit more of a daring kind of personality, so I don't think I'll fit really. Thinking about it more.
I mean, this is a combat. This is not really science.
Yeah. So knowing that, then I'm just gonna take what's coming.
Ooh. That is 6 stress coming your way. You are knocked down. As
All right.
she now 6 stress means it's past 5. You've taken more than 5 stress damage, which is an injury.
Mm.
You're knocked out. If you wish to stay up, you can avoid the injury by spending. Actually, this is more. Sorry, I realized I gave her a mean red hook. Add 2 more. This is 8 stress. You can spend 2 threat to stay up, or you can just go down. But either way, you are still knocked down, prone on the ground currently.
I'll go with the getting knocked out.
Okay.
See this happening?
You do see this happening.
Can I shoot the girl? Because I think I'm a little bit too far to really do anything.
Pretty sure we don't have phasers on us.
Don't, because this is a
No type
delegation.
ones?
Yeah, there's
Okay,
no type.
so I will try to go up to her, try to do a Vulcan nerve pinch.
So a roll pairing opposing daring security for you. It's gonna be science or medicine with the nerve pinch.
I do medicine because that's my better roll.
Science.
Yeah, science. Sorry.
All right, you run up to her to do a nerve pinch. So opposed. You're initiating the combat. So
all right. Go ahead and give you. Go ahead and give you 1 threat for 3 dice.
okay.
Hey, damn. Every time I do a bloody nerve pinch, always fails.
Spending a threat. It is currently a tie, but there's a complication. I'm gonna say as you come up to try and nerve pinch her, she knocks you down onto the ground. You don't take any stress, but you're currently prone.
I will go ahead and try to get up and try again.
We're in combat. So
Do that.
Shran is currently in another room, and the other person is Taven. And I don't know if Taven's really here. So I think you have access to a sheet, Commander.
Sure. Let me. Yes. Take a quick gander. Bolt security. Okay. So yes, Taven will move in and see if he can't take her down.
Pose daring security.
Okay. Values really apply, so I'm just going to 1 momentum and 2 threat for 4 dice.
I'll spend that.
Hand to hand for focus, and let's see what happens. Rerolling that 0. Ooh,
Ouch.
yeah, no doubt. Rolling like crap.
Rolling bad today.
What is that sticking?
I'll spend my determination on I'll never give up
Sure.
to reroll. There we go.
Gain
Huh.
a momentum. Roll damage.
Okay. Oop. It's down here. Unmarked.
Oh, Jiminy Christmas.
That's
I'll
6.
I'll spend the momentum to reroll 2.
Okay.
The 2 zeros. See if maybe I can end this, although I doubt you'll let me.
She's knocked down, so I'm spending 3 threat to keep her standing, plus another 2 to avoid the injury. All that is left is the commander. You're currently out of the room. You currently hear a scuffle coming from as the crowd inside is like kind of, freaking out.
Okay. Can I don't have the combat rules in front of me. Can I move into this zone?
You can move, but you're gonna have to, like, in order to get to her, you're gonna have to probably do it. You're gonna have to do a fitness, essentially a sprint, to get to her,
Okay.
because you are going to be moving to separate zones.
So which means I'll need to do what, a swift task to actually attack her?
Yes.
Which means I'm going to need 2 momentum. Is sprint a roll?
Yes, it is. It's fitness security difficulty of 0.
Okay, so yeah, let's sprint.
Still need a roll, but you do
Right.
have to, per zone you take, you have to spend a momentum. So you can spend at least 2 momentum to move to her, plus 2 momentum to do a swift task.
Okay, so how far can I go with the sprint?
You would move only 1 zone, or sorry, actually just 1 momentum. You would only get to about here.
Okay. So I need a sprint and a momentum to get there. Right?
Just go ahead and roll fitness security, and I'll go through it.
Okay.
It's difficulty 0.
I'll give you a threat for a third die. You gotta have any of that, we'll ask. Okay.
Gain 2 momentum.
Okay.
You move here on the sprint.
Okay.
If you want to get to her, you have to spend a momentum.
Just not gonna leave me enough to do a swift task. So that counted as my action, right?
Sprint and the minor kind of go hand to hand together on it. So
Okay, so do I need to spend to do another action?
yes.
Okay. So I will spend for the swift task, and then I'm going to use I think this will be presence command in combat, which I think is page 99 or something. But stop where you are! You're under arrest! In a very menacing shout. I'm trying to do.
Yeah, I'm trying.
I'm flipping randomly through my command book trying to find it.
It's been a while. We've slept since then.
Social conflicts, 84.
You're trying to do an
88,
intimidation.
88 and 89, yeah.
Presence plus security opposed.
Okay. Okay, I will spend my determination on never start a fight, but always finish one. Or he who dares succeeds, whichever way you. Willing to take either one of those?
Read it real quick. I'll take the first one.
Okay. And then any momentum. So I'll give you 2 threat for the 3rd/4th die. Present security. I don't think any of my focuses will help. So a total of 4.
I will spend 3 threat. Gain a momentum. She roll 6 challenge dice.
Ooh, I'll spend that momentum to reroll 3. Eh, 6.
She she kind of gets hit by Taven and kind of does thing, and you see your new science officer on the floor unconscious. Zaval is on the floor as well, not unconscious as he's looking up and as he runs into the room, and she just stops. Still in combat.
Right.
Unto death, and she's spending her determination and pulls out a vial and drinks it, dropping the vial to the floor.
I run over to her. The Strand to Valor. Emergency beam directly to sickbay.
Control plus engineering, difficulty of 3, assisted by the ship's sensors plus engineering.
Don't fail me now, Mr. Kelly. Difficulty of 3, eh? All right, take a threat. Oof. Go ahead and roll the ship. Sensors, engineering. Okay. Technical expertise won't let me reroll my die on that, will it?
It does.
Okay.
It's the ship
I'll
or
reroll.
the player character. Or
I'll
the character
reroll.
has it.
Okay, so made it. No complication.
She's beamed to sickbay.
Oh boy.
Doctor, she's just drank some of the same poison.
Immediately I look to my assistant and go, triage mode. If she'll live, let her be. Let's work on her now.
Yes, doctor.
Oh, fudge. I'm trying to move my token, but it's dragging the screen. It's dragging everything else with it. You might have to move it. Thank you. If it's the same poison, we're going to use the same trick as we did last time.
Control plus medicine, difficulty of 4, complication range 3.
Okay, so we're going to get... You still have the chief medical officer's thing, so you can reduce that difficulty if you want, or the complication.
What's the difficulty so far?
4.
4? I think it'd be better if I reduce the difficulty.
Okay.
I'm going to spend 2 threat to keep the difficulty at 4.
Oof. So the ship will assist and Faratok will assist. Yeah, I mean, we need to find out what her deal is, so I'd give him threat for dice.
That's what I was thinking. I'll give you do I want to go 2 dice or 1 dice? That's the question.
Go big. You might earn some momentum.
Okay, I'll give you enough threat to roll 4 dice.
4 dice. Spending that complication range 5.
Oof. He's trying to kill her.
This is probably the last roll of the game, just to let you know. So
Right.
Okay, well, roll big or go home.
Diff 3. Or Diff 4, yeah.
Diff 4, comp 5. 2 assist.
Oof. And the Valor. Computers, medicine. 3. I don't think we have any way to... Do you have any way to re-roll either of those zeros, Doc?
Unfortunately, I used my determination already.
Okay, and you've got cautious, not bold.
Oh, yes, I do have cautious.
Yeah, we didn't have any momentum, though.
Yeah, you gave me threat instead of spending. You had to spend momentum to use cautious.
Yeah.
Bold is for. Give it GM3.
Crap. Well, yeah, I don't have any other way of doing.
I really want to know what she was up to.
Hey, you and me both. Unfortunately,
So, real quick, I'm gonna explain what happens with the roll. As you think you got the dosage right, because of the same dosage as you used last time on Zenovia, and she gives it Ryzen, so you know this combination works. You inject her, and because of compilation, it just accelerates the swelling, and she suffocates to death.
Paradoxical reaction.
Now, let me see if I can try something. Might be a bit barbaric, but it might be the only way to save her. Tracheal.
She's
If it's
she's dead.
already dead. Okay.
She's dead.
Okay.
Ah. We did what we could, Doctor.
In a bit of frustration, I slam my fist on the bio bed. Ugh!
Wait a minute.
Per person.
Stupid organization. What's this?
If you're thinking about going to like the GM, like the book, the science book with the quote unquote stimulator to resuscitate her again, the issue is that's not going to cure what's causing the affliction in her body.
What about a blood gas infuser?
No.
Okay.
She's
shot.
There's no oxygen going to the brain, so her lungs
All right.
ceased working.
I was originally thinking of giving her a tracheometry to get past the swelling.
Well, and there are some cool things in the science division, like medical equipment that gives you advantages, but none of it was too late.
Yeah.
What I recommend picking it up.
So I know that stuff anyway.
The book has a lot of interesting stuff in it. It's worth picking up. The science book, that is.
Yeah. Oh well.
Do you wish to do a scan on her or anything else?
First things first, gonna inform the commander of what happened. Doctor to Commander Thashan, if I'm saying that right.
Thashan here.
We did our best, but we couldn't save her. The poison acted way too fast.
Ah, poor worms. Oh well, Doctor, I'm sure you did your best.
We're gonna try to do some. We're gonna perform an autopsy on her, see what we can pick up on her.
Very good, Doctor.
What?
Reason plus medicine, difficulty 2, assisted by the ship's sensors plus medicine.
Okay, reason plus medicine.
Yep.
2 dice.
Can Faratok assist?
Yeah.
There we go.
Oh, nice save.
Since everybody's in the room, as you begin the autopsy, essentially it's a very thorough cellular scan, you notice that this individual is not Ryzen, but is in fact a Cardassian. Cause of death is essentially suffocation due to not going into too medical terms, but essentially, anesthetic. Can't say no. Allergic reaction to whatever the poison was.
Right.
Yeah, that was going to be. Did she, by any chance, have one of those devices like we found on the last Cardassian infiltrator?
She did not.
Okay. Yeah, that was going to be the Shran's next escalation, but I just never got there.
Upon discovering that, I'm going to tap my comm badge. Dr. Yaman to Commander Shran.
Shran, go ahead.
You better get up here. I got some news for you.
I've got a room full of Federation counselors to deal with down here, Doctor. Go ahead with your news.
She's not Ryzen. She's Cardassian.
Unfortunately, I'm not as surprised as I ought to be. Good work, Doctor. Thank you. And I will deliver that information to the human Trill and Tellarite and delegates as well. Okay, there we are.
Commander.
I have good news and bad news. The bad news, unfortunately, is that the would-be assassin, we were unable to save her. Apparently, she drank an even larger dose of pure poison than the ambassador did. The good news is that Zenovia will be fine. She needs a little bit more treatment, but she will pull through and fully recover. Furthermore, the waitress was not Ryzen at all, but it turns out was a surgically altered Cardassian agent. This is the second such agent the Valor has encountered, the first being the one who attempted to assassinate the leaders of the Shiva 2 colony aboard Starbase. Was it our K-88? No.
211.
211. Okay. Starbase 211. The Cardassians seemed determined to take whatever steps are necessary to make sure they come out on top of this thing.
The ambassador is quite persuasive.
Well,
if her death was ruled as accidental, I think things would have not have gone the way she would probably want it to.
Well, the Cardassian Union was responsible for this. I'm sure they will claim it was a rogue agent or whatnot, but for what it's worth, my experience with the Cardassians is that this was a deliberately orchestrated assassination attempt. They knew damn well what they were doing and had somebody in place ready to do it. And I look at Delegate Vim. This is what we're up against out there. It's not just galore cruisers and gulls with puffed out chests. It's people, it's the Obsidian Order and agents potentially anywhere, and willing to do whatever it takes whenever they can to ensure that the Cardassian Union comes out on top. You can't trust them, Minister. I don't know that we'll ever be able to.
Perhaps, but we do have to start somewhere.
First, you have to find the right person. If it had been anybody but Archer or anybody but Shran, history would have been completely different.
Well said, Commander.
In the event, you're all, of course, free to go. I'll be reporting this to Starfleet Command and Starfleet Security. I would suggest that you all up your security procedures in light of these events, particularly those of you who are who take the political viewpoint of the Federation needing to stand strong in these regions of space.
We'll request additional security.
Well, I wish we could have met under different circumstances, but good luck to you both.
And good luck to you, Commander, as he extends his hand out.
Shake his hand.
Thank you for your hard work, Commander.
And for yours. And I kind of look at James in the eye, knowing well that I've given him a pretty hefty case of political ammunition.
Yeah. Ugh, is this finally over with?
Yes, you can go back to your mud bath and try and straighten out that matted excuse for a beard.
Ha! How about you go freeze at that place you call a tundra? Good day, Commander.
Watching you leave has been the best thing about today. I head off. And gather up the security team and everyone else and head back to the ship. And then, by God, we can all resume shore leave tomorrow morning.
As we enter the final scene of the game, this is sort of as the rest of the crew, you recover from your injuries and swollen pride. The ambassador makes a full recovery, where later she returns back to Risa, where the delegation meets and kind of comes to a sense of deliberation as Councilmember James pointed out that the majority of the delegates there are going to propose a unanimous declaration to give more resources to Starfleet and aid them in this border contest or border dispute. If there's any other additional role play, if anyone would like to do, we will then, or else.
I think one thing I want to do after that is probably sit in the ship's 10 forward, thinking about the fact that I lost a patient, and it's weighing heavily on me right now.
And I missed something in the map layer. I gotta pull a map in eventually for this.
Okay.
But yes, so you're in tent or the mess hall of the Valor.
Gotta be something I could have done differently.
Shran will walk in at some point. Get his Andorian spiced tea.
There has had to be something I could have done differently.
Mind if I join you, Doctor?
Oh, Commander. Sure, go on ahead.
Everything all right?
You know, when I joined on Starfleet Medical Corps, I made a promise I would not let a patient die under my watch. That promise was strengthened when I had a friend die in the line of duty. This is hitting home. This is hitting me hard. She might have been a Cardassian, but her life was still important.
Well, you might consider the fact that you made a promise you're incapable of keeping. Believe me, Doctor, I understand. But shortly before you joined the ship, 3,000 more Federation citizens lost their lives in a Cardassian attack on a colony world. A colony world that the Valor and the Pierce and all of us could not hold for them. We barely managed to rescue those 50-odd people that the Cardassians had held captive.
Yeah.
Our work is dangerous. People die. Even when we're doing our proper missions of exploration and scientific research. But you're on the Cardassian border now, Doctor.
That is true.
It's a lot more common than we'd like it to be.
Growing
I
up,
know. Go ahead.
I was going to say, growing up, my parents have always used this phrase when talking to their comrades when I was on one of their ships. The phrase is, we're Starfleet. Risk is always our business. The thing is, I don't think it's ever, even at the academy, I don't think it's ever truly sunk in. Even at my friend's death, this might be the point where it's starting to sink in.
We do our damnedest to save them all, Doctor, but the reality is we can't. So we save who we can, and we count our victories, small as they may be.
Well, if we're going to count victories, I'm glad the ambassador is alive.
And because she's alive, and because we uncovered the plot and you uncovered the Cardassian agent, it looks like we're going to be getting potentially some help out here, which means in the long run we save a lot of lives.
Well, thank you, Commander, for reminding me that. I knew of people dying out here and during this conflict. I just never thought it'd be one under my watch.
Well, grieve as you must. But remember, shift starts at 0600.
I'll get over it.
As for me, I'm packing my duffel and heading back down to the surface. You might want to take the opportunity yourself again. It's not often we get to Risa. Enjoy a little beauty before we get back to the wars.
You don't have to tell me twice, Vice Commander.
See you in a couple of days, Doctor.
See you in a couple days.
And see.
And with that, we'll bring a close to today's session.